Coming up on Epic Friday Battles.
So for our first opponent we have Jeff the Land Shark. He has the physical strength of a puppy combined with a normal shark's bite, meaning that he possesses wall-level striking strength and average human lifting power, and also the fact that he's surprisingly one of the most uniquely powerful and terrifying characters in the Marvel Universe. So for our second opponent we have Jeff the Killer. Jeff the Killer's strength is highly exaggerated for an ordinary teenage boy, since he possesses street-level strength and endurance, and he can run as fast as a highly trained human athlete or sprinter. He also possesses average to above average intelligence when it comes to murder and survival, and he's highly capable. Who will be the winner of today's video? Jeff the Land Shark or Jeff the Killer? Based on all of the information that we received about Jeff the Land Shark and Jeff the Killer, the true winner of today's episode is...
Warning. These episodes contain spoilers, and some of them may not be suitable for young audiences, especially children, so I would suggest you click off these videos if you don't want to get spoiled, or hear the foul language in these episodes. Also, some of it may be gruesome, and a little too much for some people. So once again, please, click off these videos if you don't want to get traumatized or anything like that. I'm warning you, people. But anyways, enjoy the episode and have fun with the series.
Hello, sexy people of the internet, and welcome to our 5th episode of Epic Friday Battles, where in this series we explain what the battles are and who the opponents are, while it also depends on how many opponents there are in total. From one single battle to another, we basically go through every single information in detail about the opponents themselves, and then we find out who the actual winners are and why they actually won, including who the actual losers are and why they actually lost in these battles. Also, little reminder that we take requests, so if you guys have a battle in mind that you want us to discuss about, even if y'all have seen or heard of these particular fights before, then just throw them down in the comments anyway, and we'll take them into our series. Despite it may or may not take a while for some of your requests to actually get added into the series itself, so some of you will have to be patient about it and wait until then. Also, there might be rearrangements for some episodes, but not all of them though, so yeah. Also, feel free to ask us any questions, and we'll answer them all in the comments down below as best as we can. So yeah. Also, in case if you missed it from episode 4, last Friday we had a fight between Michael Myers and Rob Zombie's Michael Myers, and the real Michael Myers himself ended up being the winner, while Rob Zombie's Michael Myers ended up being the loser, unfortunately. But oh well. Better luck next time, Rob Zombie's Michael Myers. But anywho, for today's episode we had an interesting but yet strange request from someone who wanted us to discuss a fight between two different beings named Jeff from separate universes, and they are Jeff the Land Shark and Jeff the Killer. Now, this is something that I never thought I would see in this series, and I'm just like, my brother in Christ, you really want us to talk about this fight? And so the person said yes, absolutely, and me and the boys agreed to actually do this shit. So it is truly our honor and pleasure to discuss every single detail and information about this crazy and out-of-control fight. So, yeah. But it does beg one question, though. Who will be the true winner of today's episode and why? I seriously don't know about you people, but I really want to find out and see for myself, because holy moly, is this going to be one interesting and intense episode, that's for sure. So let's see who the winner will be and who the loser will be in today's video. Once we explain everything about our first opponent, which is Jeff the Land Shark, and then we will discuss everything about our second opponent, which is Jeff the Killer. So you guys better sit back and relax and enjoy this awesome and yet questionable episode. So enough of my yapping and let's go. So for our first opponent we have Jeff the Land Shark. Jeff the land shark is a fictional genetically engineered species known simply as a land shark, but physically resembles a great white shark with legs, and he's a character from the Marvel Comics created by a comic book writer named Kelly Thompson and an artist named Daniele Di Nicuolo. This little guy is incredibly famous and popular, as he's also very well known and highly recognizable. He's seriously beloved and absolutely adored by both comic fans, gamers alike, and other people too. He's also a massive fan favorite, and he's absolutely a good guy. Well, I should say a good shark, since he's not technically a human being, nor is he part human either. His very first appearance was from the Marvel Comics titled West Coast Avengers Volume 3, #6, published in October 2018 as an unnamed cameo, and West Coast Avengers Volume 3, #7, published in January 2019 as his official named debut. He also makes his appearances in other comics, games, movies, TV shows, and fanon-wise. He's also canon, which most of you already know, and he acts like a playful, fiercely loyal puppy wrapped in the body of a four-legged shark. But he cannot speak traditional human language, though. But hey, that doesn't stop him from being one of the most cutest and most adorable shark characters ever. Seriously, like he's literally one of the cutest and most adorable characters in the Marvel Universe that I want to adopt him so freaking badly and keep him as my son forever and ever. Like, no shit. I would seriously keep him as my adopted son and be an amazing father to him if only he was actually real, but he's not, sadly. I mean, come on. Wouldn't you adopt him if Jeff was real, honestly? Because I definitely would, and I wouldn't care as to what other people would say or think about it anyway. A lot of people love and hate him for all sorts of different reasons, as most of you guys know. But I'm not going to get into much detail about that just because, and just simply move on about Jeff. He originated from the creation of the land sharks that were created by a supervillain named MODOK Superior, specifically an alternate persona called BRODOK, as biological weapons to unleash revenge on Southern California after being romantically rejected by local women and was ultimately defeated by the West Coast Avengers in the actual Marvel comic. After that, an anti-hero named Gwenpool stumbled upon an abandoned baby land shark and decided to adopt the little fella, and then named him Jeff. She originally kept Jeff because she instantly fell in love with how incredibly sweet and harmless he looked, and she named him Jeff because she previously had an adopted kitten named Jeff as well, but was forced by Kate Bishop or Hawkeye to return the kitty to its original owner, unfortunately. And so Jeff the land shark himself became a member of the West Coast Avengers. And the team's reaction to this adorable little fella was a mix of initial horror and total skepticism, which eventually transformed into unconditional love. But Gwenpool feared that her comic would be canceled, so to protect Jeff, she gave him to Deadpool himself, apparently only for his series to be canceled. And then Jeff would end up with Kate Bishop, where during a pool party he stole Captain America's shield to sled with the Young Avengers, ate the Infinity Gauntlet somehow, and ate the Thanksgiving turkey in the other Marvel comics. Sounds crazy, but it's all real and official too, so yeah. To blend in when going out, Jeff usually uses various different animal costumes because he enjoys swimming so much since he's a land shark, of course. But one time he scared everyone at a pool party with his fin, even though he's incredibly friendly and wouldn't hurt anyone unless if they're villains or rivals or even threatening his friends. So for this to never happen again, he uses a dolphin costume, and he also somehow scared people in the Netherlands when his fin peeked out in a field of tulips. But one time Jeff inexplicably ended up bonded with a symbiote during the Venom War. Becoming Venom Jeff, he was okay with it, but Kate herself ended up removing it from him. And he's based on a combination of a background comic illustration and the real-life personality traits of domesticated kittens and dogs. He does not have biological parents, nor does he have individual siblings, and he also does not have a romantic lover either, and he is actually fully grown, but he's just permanently small. Since he's technically an adult, despite his small size and the fact that he's wildly known as Jeff the Baby Land Shark. But still though, his age is unknown, and he stands about 1 foot 6 inches or 45.72 centimeters tall, with a total height from nose to tail of 2 feet 3 inches or 68.58 centimeters long. As he weighs 17 pounds or 7.71 kilograms, his upper body is a blue-gray or navy-gray blue, and his belly is white. He typically does not wear any clothes most of the time, other than his signature pink dog collar with a gold ID tag. But he frequently wears costumes, outfits, and seasonal apparel across Marvel Comics and the video game Marvel Rivals, including other outfits that are fanon-wise since people really love Jeff the Land Shark, considering that he's actually not only one of my all-time favorite characters, but also one of my all-time favorite shark characters as well. And you're probably wondering, why? I mean, just look at this adorable little shit. He's truly by far the cutest little shit of a shark I have ever seen in my entire life. I seriously don't understand as to how some people hate this little shit, man. Like, really, my guy? You hate this little shark? You're out of your freaking mind, bro. But overall, he's incredibly nice, kind, and loving. He also goes by other nicknames, and they are Jeff the Shark, Jeff the Baby Land Shark, and many other different nicknames. So yeah. But anyways, he has the physical strength of a puppy combined with a normal shark's bite, meaning that he possesses wall-level striking strength and average human lifting power, and also the fact that he's surprisingly one of the most uniquely powerful and terrifying characters in the Marvel Universe. This little shit has a base movement speed of 6 meters per second. However, his speed changes significantly depending on the abilities and buffs he uses during combat, and he's surprisingly intelligent as well. Since he possesses above-average human-like intelligence, roughly comparable to a clever human child, he's not exactly dangerous to innocent people, but he can be incredibly dangerous to villains, opponents, and those who dare to threaten him, or his friends, and people that Jeff knows. He's generally not that threatening, but he is an absolute menace and a high-level gameplay threat in the Marvel Rivals game, and he's also one of the most chaotic and out-of-control characters in the Marvel Universe. He does not have a high IQ, but he absolutely uses his body as a weapon, including his teeth, his jaws, his tail, and his claws, too. He absolutely has both skills and tricks on his side, and also, he does have unique powers and abilities, while it mainly depends on which version of Jeff you are talking about, since, believe it or not, there are several alternate versions, doppelgangers, and multiversial variants of Jeff the Land Shark himself across the Marvel Universe. He's also loyal and caring, too. Jeff can growl and hiss, but he cannot roar, though. He also makes cute, high-pitched, animalistic noises like squeaking, gurgling, humming, and he can even sing as well, but just not with human words. He's a very fast swimmer, and he's not traditionally a fast runner on his own 4 legs. He also packs an incredibly powerful bite force, and he can and does kill, as he's incredibly capable and durable, too. He has razor-sharp teeth, and his claws are truly not that sharp, since he's got those teeny-tiny paws. He's chronically young as an adult, and he also serves as both a mascot and a pet across the Marvel Universe. He's not completely unstoppable, nor is he unbreakable or undefeatable, and he's not strictly invincible either. So based on all of this, he's technically not immortal, nor is he a god since he's actually a mutated bioexperiment or just simply a mutant. But he is deceivingly destructive, though. The abilities of this cute and adorable little shit are land and water mobility, enhanced intelligence and senses, size alteration, and exceptional stealth, while he's also capable of amphibious adaptation, prodigious appetite and bite force, master of stealth, symbiote shape-shifting, and chemical replication. His strengths are endless appetite, cosmic empowerment, amphibious adaptation, superhuman physicals, toon force and reality warping, and high social intelligence, while his weaknesses are extreme gluttony, environmental dehydration, naivety and gullibility, and physical limitations. He likes adventure and costumes. His special noise, playtime and eating, as he also loves Gwenpool and Kate Bishop, Deadpool, and Emma Frost, while he dislikes and hates MODOK, aka his own creator, symbiotes, things that aren't fun, and shadows or malevolent dark forces. Also, the strongest version of Jeff the Landshark is the Marvel Rivals variant, and the weakest version of Jeff the Landshark is his baseline Marvel Comics, Earth-616 incarnation, while he's been around for several years. So this is the only information that we have about Jeff the Landshark for now though, but luckily we will have some more on the way, and let's see what our second opponent has in store for us. Then we'll discuss who the actual winner is in this video, so here we go, y'all. So for our second opponent we have Jeff the Killer.
Go to sleep.
Jeff the Killer is a disfigured psychopathic serial killer from the creepypasta fandom, and he's also an internet urban legend. Despite being a fictional character and not based on an actual person, he's one of the most famous, popular, well-known, recognizable, and iconic characters from the entire creepypasta fandom. And he was created by a person named Jeff Case, who is wildly known by his internet pseudonym Cesur on October 3, 2008. He's also one of the most scariest and terrifying characters in the whole creepypasta fandom, and he does not get along with the other creepypasta characters, especially Jane the Killer, because he brutally murdered her parents and completely ruined Jane's life, turning her into a vengeful enemy sworn to kill him. Not to mention that he always has a beef with not only Jane the Killer, but also Slender Man himself the most out of everybody else, and the fight between Jeff the Killer and Slender Man is truly one of the most popular and well-known fights of all time. Seriously, like no joke at all, even I can agree on that. And for all I know, someone watching this video right now is probably gonna want us to add the fight between Jeff the Killer and Slender Man in our series, and honestly, I truly wouldn't mind it at all. So if you want us to add Jeff the Killer versus Slender Man, or just Slender Man versus Jeff the Killer, or whatever you want to call it, into our series, then let us know in the comments down below, and we will absolutely make that happen, for sure, I promise you. But anyways, moving on about Jeff the Killer, his origin began from 2011 when he was just a 13-year-old boy named Jeff Woods who moved into a new affluent neighborhood with his parents and his brother named Liu. Shortly after moving, Jeff begins to experience an unfamiliar, deep-seated feeling of inner rage and aggression. The next morning, while waiting at a bus stop for school, Jeff and his brother are confronted by 3 local teenage boys named Randy, Troy, and Keith, who threaten them with knives and steal Liu's wallet. Jeff completely snaps, giving in to his sudden violent urges, and brutally beats all 3 bullies up by breaking Randy's wrist and stabbing Keith before fleeing the scene with his brother. The next day, police officers show up to the Woods household to investigate the assault. Jeff attempts to convince to the crime, but Louis takes the blame for his brother to protect him. He was arrested and taken away to a juvenile detention center, sending Jeff into a severe, isolated depression. Hoping to cheer him up, Jeff's mother forces him to attend a neighborhood child's birthday party. At the party, the 3 bullies seeking revenge corner Jeff. A brutal fight breaks out that spills into the bathroom. Jeff manages to kill Randy, but during the struggle, bleach and vodka are spilled all over him. Keith sets Jeff on fire using a lighter, turning him into a living inferno before Jeff passes out. He wakes up in a hospital covered in bandages. He learns that his brother had been released from juvenile hall because witnesses finally stepped forward to state the bullies attacked first. However, the physical and psychological damage to Jeff is already done. When the doctors removed the bandages, his face was completely disfigured, revealing ghost white leathery skin, singed jet black hair, and bright red distorted lips. Instead of being horrified, Jeff looks in the mirror and begins laughing hysterically, claiming he loves his new face. The doctors dismiss this reaction as temporary insanity caused by heavy painkillers and mistakenly discharge him to go home. Later that night, his mother awakens to find Jeff in the bathroom committing horrific acts of self-mutilation. He has carved a permanent smile into his cheeks, so he never has to exert energy to smile again. And he has burned off his own eyelids, so he can stare at his beautiful face forever. Horrified, his mother runs to wake up his father to get a gun, but Jeff interrupts them in the doorway and stabs both of them to death. He enters his brother's bedroom. As Lou wakes up in terror, Jeff covers his mouth with his hand, raises his kitchen knife, and whispers his iconic catchphrase right before striking. Just go to sleep. He then escapes into the night, officially transforming into the elusive, pale-faced serial killer known across internet lore. So his story is both sad and terrifying at the same time, as y'all can tell from all of that. But he's also extremely famous, incredibly popular, extremely well-known, extremely recognizable, and highly iconic too. He's roughly 5'7" to 6'0", or 1.70 to 1.83 meters tall, and his weight is not exactly stated, but across different iterations and fan interpretations, his weight is generally described as between 141 to 158 pounds, with some older and fan-fictional wikis listing him up to 220 pounds. But his actual weight is not fully confirmed, though, so let's just move on. He's 13 years old, like I said already, while in other fan fictions and expanded universes. His age changes up to 21 or even older. But he's actually 13 years old, though, and to some people they think that age is just a number, which is extremely gross and really uncalled for truly. Like, seriously? You are one disgusting motherfucker if you actually think that, bro. That's not cool or funny at all. If you're seriously one of those people who finds characters that are kids and teenagers attractive, do me one simple favor and go fuck yourself, piss off, and burn in hell, because you're absolutely not allowed here, nor are you people welcomed here at all. But on a serious note, please don't be a pedophile and end up like those other horrible and disgusting people, okay? But anyways, time to move on. He has ghostly paper white skin, charred black hair, deep black outlines with wide, unblinking pupils, and a bright red mouth. He traditionally wears a white hoodie sweatshirt, black skinny jeans, and white sneakers, as he also does not wear any other different outfits. He mainly uses a large kitchen knife for his killings and sometimes uses other weapons besides a knife. However, there is another creepypasta character that is often compared with Jeff the Killer, and some people say that he might be Jeff's pet since they share some similarities. So now you're probably wondering, who is it and why? Well, allow me to introduce you to this unsettling and creepy-ass dog named Smile Dog. Smile Dog is another one of the most famous, popular, well-known, recognizable, iconic, and scariest creepypasta characters from the entire fandom itself, and he's a Siberian husky that smiles way too often because he can't physically stop smiling, since he's a sadistic, demonic entity that derives intense joy from inflicting psychological terror and driving humans insane. So I know what you're thinking right now. Why am I comparing Smile Dog with Jeff the Killer? I mean, if you take a good look at the both of them, they actually do share some similarities with each other, despite having different creators, different stories, different personalities, different character traits, and you pretty much get the rest of it, obviously. Anyways, they're both from the same fandom, but they don't exist in the same universe, though, and they're both two different beings that cannot stop smiling at all for different reasons. Jeff the Killer cannot stop smiling because his smile is physically carved into his face, and Smile Dog cannot stop smiling because he is an otherworldly demonic entity and not an actual animal. However, because that these two share some similarities and they're often compared to each other, some fans and other people see Smile Dog as Jeff the Killer's pet, despite one's a biological human and the other's a supernatural demonic entity. But there is something that did upset and disappoint some people. The truth is, Smile Dog is not actually Jeff the Killer's pet, and Jeff himself never actually had Smile Dog as a pet anyway. Let me explain why. Jeff the Killer never had a pet in the actual lore of his story, and he's never actually met Smile Dog in person at all. Smile Dog was never actually Jeff the Killer's pet to begin with in the actual lore of the dog's story. And yet even this smiling freak hasn't actually met Jeff the Killer in person either. Sounds upsetting and disappointing, but it's true sadly. So this also means that these two smiling creeps technically don't know about each other's existences at all because of this. Many fans and other people were truly upset and disappointed by this after learning the truth about them, but most people actually see Smile Dog as Jeff the Killer's pet, even if it's not official or confirmed by the creators themselves. Not to mention that both Jeff the Killer and Smile Dog actually make a good duo with each other since they're smiling freaks from the same fandom. And honestly, I can truly see that from the both of them. And I can also see Smile Dog as Jeff the Killer's pet either way. I think that Smile Dog would absolutely make a great pet for Jeff the Killer. And I'm pretty sure that Jeff himself would love Smile Dog a lot if he actually kept that thing as a pet. But anyways, time to move on about Jeff. He's canon, which I'm pretty sure y'all knew that, of course, and he does not have a romantic partner since he doesn't want an actual relationship with anyone at all. However, the internet doesn't say otherwise, and they just can't seem to accept no for an answer. Want to know why I say that? 2 words: ships and fangirls. Why? Well, it's mainly because Jeff often gets shipped with other characters from the creepypasta fandom, including the most random characters from different franchises too. And as for the fangirls, oh brother, don't even get me started with them, bro. Please don't get me started on those fangirls. But let's just move on and forget about this. Anyways, Jeff the Killer's strength is highly exaggerated for an ordinary teenage boy since he possesses street-level strength and endurance, and he can run as fast as a highly trained human athlete or sprinter. He also possesses average to above-average intelligence when it comes to murder and survival, and he's highly capable. Jeff is extremely dangerous and highly threatening, as he's also highly menacing and extremely deadly too. He's highly destructive and possesses peak human to wall-level durability. Despite he does not have a high IQ, but he is completely and irredeemably deranged and out of control as well. Jeff also can and does use his body as a weapon, and he's extremely cruel, but he's categorized as broken or tragic, while some people view him as a pure evil slasher. So he's definitely purely bad since he's a undeniably bad guy and he's a fast runner. Since Jeff possesses peak human to athletic human speed, he also has specific skills and tricks, while he does not have powers and abilities. Since he's literally just a human teenager and he can be killed, but not easily though, Jeff is not unstoppable, nor is he unbreakable or undefeatable, and he's not invincible either. So because that he's just a human, he's not immortal, nor is he a god, as most of you already know. Also, his full name is Jeffrey Allen Woods, but he sometimes goes by Jeffrey Woods or Jeff Woods, or just simply Jeff. For short, the abilities of Jeff himself are high pain tolerance, peak human strength, athletic speed, and agility. Abnormal stamina, master stealth, knifemanship, berserk homicidal rage, psychological manipulation, infection immunity, and permanent vision. He's also capable of extreme physical feats, psychological tactics, supernatural horror, superhuman physicality, and psychological warfare. Jeff the Killer's strengths are inhuman durability, extreme pain tolerance, peak human speed and agility, superhuman strength, stealth mastery, knife and CQC prowess, exploiting weaknesses, unpredictability, and intimidation. While his weaknesses are no eyelids, human limits, close-range combat, extreme intensity, blinded by bloodlust, and no supernatural powers, he likes and loves killing and bloodlust, his own disfigured face, the phrase "go to sleep," and taunting victims as he also dislikes and hates bullies. Being pushed and bossed around, bleach and fire, his past and appearance, people leaving or forgetting him, his own mother, rivals like Slender Man, Nina the Killer, and even Jane the Killer. So this is pretty much everything that we have about Jeff the Killer, while we will have some more information about both Jeff the Killer and Jeff the Land Shark. But now it's officially time to discuss who the real winner is for today's episode and why only one of them stands out. So will one of these Jeffs win the battle? Or will it end up being a draw for the both of them? I don't know about you, but I truly want to find out for myself, and we're about to get right into it in just a second. Let's go! So, who will be the winner of today's video? Jeff the Land Shark or Jeff the Killer?
But not for long.
Here's what we know about this fight. Both of these characters are named Jeff, and they're from separate franchises, as y'all can tell, since one's a four-legged shark, while the other's a human being who's a psychopathic serial killer. Jeff the Land Shark originated from the Marvel Comics, and Jeff the Killer originated from DeviantArt and Newgrounds before being published into the creepypasta fandom. Despite these two have never actually met each other in person from their own universes at all. But what exactly would happen if they did, though? And how would the fight itself play out? Well, here's what you need to know. Jeff the Land Shark is vastly stronger and more faster than Jeff the Killer. While the shark is also more intelligent and capable than the killer, Jeff, the Land Shark, is both a faster runner and a faster swimmer compared to Jeff the Killer. Since he cannot actually swim, Jeff the Land Shark is more tougher and durable than Jeff the Killer. While Jeff the Killer is more taller and bigger than Jeff the Land Shark. But the shark himself is more older than the killer since he's a young adult, despite his age is unknown. Though while Jeff the Killer is only 13 years old, making him younger, Jeff the Killer is more heavier and scarier than Jeff the Land Shark, as the killer is also more dangerous and threatening than the shark himself. Jeff the Killer is more menacing than Jeff the Land Shark, but the shark is more deadlier than him. And Jeff the Killer stabs more harder than Jeff the Land Shark, while the shark bites more harder than the killer, since as a land shark, he has the same abilities as a normal shark, but does have a big appetite, and pretty much eats everything, and also bites everything because of that. Jeff the Land Shark also has a higher IQ compared to Jeff the Killer, despite the both of them do not actually have high IQs in the official lore. Believe it or not, Jeff the Land Shark has more weapons than Jeff the Killer. Because the shark himself exists within the high-power sci-fi Marvel universe, allowing him to wield everything from superhero tech to cosmic artifacts. And also the fact that Jeff the Land Shark has got the power too. Jeff the Land Shark is also more vastly destructive and more powerful than Jeff the Killer as well, but Jeff the Killer has been around longer, both universe-wise and reality-wise, since he was created first in 2008, while Jeff the Land Shark was created in 2018, exactly 10 years later. Jeff the Killer is more famous, popular, well-known, recognizable, and iconic than Jeff the Land Shark, while the shark has more skills, tricks, powers, and abilities than the killer himself. As Jeff the Land Shark is both more of a fan favorite and is objectively better than Jeff the Killer in almost every single way. Sure, these two characters are special in their own ways, and fans have different thoughts about them, but still though, Jeff the Land Shark has made more appearances than Jeff the Killer, and they're both canon in their own universes, as Jeff the Land Shark has more strengths, while Jeff the Killer has more weaknesses compared to each other. Jeff the Land Shark is more unstoppable, unbreakable, undefeatable, invincible, unbeatable, and unkillable than Jeff the Killer, and the shark is more good and respectful since the killer is more evil and disrespectful. So based on all of this, they're not immortals, nor are they gods either. Jeff the Killer is more aggressive than Jeff the Land Shark, and the shark himself is more weaponry than Jeff the Killer, not to mention that there are other different versions of both Jeff the Land Shark and Jeff the Killer, from not only their own universes but the entire multiverses too. Jeff the Land Shark has a higher threat level compared to Jeff the Killer, since the shark's threat level scales from small city to multi-continental level, while the killer's threat level scales at street level with athlete to peak human states, and it depends on which version of Jeff the Land Shark and Jeff the Killer you guys are talking about. So yeah, Jeff the Land Shark fights and eats more than Jeff the Killer, while Jeff the Killer hunts and kills more than Jeff the Land Shark does, as they're both capable of beating smaller and larger threats and other beings too. They're both also capable of talking, except Jeff. the land shark can't exactly speak properly, and Jeff the Killer is both more crazier and out of control than Jeff the land shark really is. One thing I will say is that Jeff the Killer frequently gets misgendered by other people, mainly because of his looks, and the fact that some people thought that he was a teenage girl, especially with his long hair. Not to mention that some people think that Jeff is also emo from his appearance, and how he speaks too, but he's not actually emo though, even in the actual lore, and Jeff the land shark himself gets frequently mistaken for being a baby because of his small size and appearance as well. Even though this little shit is literally a young adult. But still. Anyways, the fight between these two Jeffs is highly debatable, primarily because it pits an armed human serial killer against a durable, magically adopted Marvel comic book mascot. And it's actually debated within online fiction fighting and power scaling communities, even though these two have never actually fought against each other, nor have they gotten a crossover between their own universes or their own franchise and fandom. But that's alright though, because we have the real answer as to who the true winner is for today's episode and why the other opponent loses. So yeah, it's officially time to find out who actually wins and why only one of them comes up in first place, y'all. So, here we go. Based on all of the information that we received about Jeff the land shark and Jeff the Killer, the true winner of today's episode is... Drum roll, please. Jeff the land shark! That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Jeff the land shark is the real winner of today's episode, and Jeff the Killer is unfortunately the loser of today's video. So now we're going to explain why Jeff the land shark is the actual winner and why Jeff the Killer is the loser of today's battle. Jeff the land shark truly wins against Jeff the Killer, completely overwhelming the creepypasta legend with superior durability, offensive versatility, and surprisingly brutal combat instincts as the shark scales to the massive power levels of the Marvel Universe. Another reason for this is also because Jeff the land shark possesses powerful supernatural abilities and incredible hammer space, which vastly outclass the standard human-level physical states of the classic creepypasta serial killer. Not to mention that this little shit is absolutely feisty and has the higher chance of winning against Jeff the Killer anyway. Sure, he may be small for a four-legged great white shark, but I'm seriously glad that he's the true winner of today's episode, since I absolutely love and adore this little shit so much. But what if Jeff the Killer won against Jeff the land shark instead, some of you may ask? Well, oh boy. Let me just put it to you this way and hopefully y'all will understand it. If this actually happened, it would trigger a bizarre shift in both the creepypasta and Marvel universes, and Jeff the Killer himself would likely claim the shark's signature bucket hat and Floaty as a bizarre trophy, adding a highly unusual toothy weapon to his arsenal. Not to mention that it would also be considered a massive logic-defying upset in the versus battle community, and the power scaling makes a victory for Jeff the Killer practically impossible under normal circumstances. So yeah, but overall Jeff the Killer actually loses in this battle mainly because of a massive disparity in their physical scales, abilities, and supernatural attributes, and also the fact that he seriously has the lowest chance of winning against Jeff the land shark anyway. So yeah, but the real victory goes to Jeff the land shark, and that's it. End of story, period. So do you agree or disagree with the winner? Why or why not? Let us know in the comments down below. And if you or anyone else has any battle requests that y'all want us to add into our series, even if you've heard of these particular fights before, then throw them down in the comments anyway, and feel free to ask us questions while you're at it, and we'll answer them all for every single one of you guys. I promise you. Also, there might be rearrangements for some of the episodes, but not all of them though, and it may or may not take a while for y'all's requests to actually get added into our series. So you all will have to be patient about it and wait until then. So yeah, but anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and we can't wait to see y'all again for episode 6 of Epic Friday Battles. See you all next Friday, And have yourself a great weekend, everybody. Peace out, and I love y'all so much.